everyone, Glenn Lane here. This is my sort of thoughts on the GP Pinpointer. I know there's been a lot of YouTube videos on them, but I just wanted to give you my take. Now I bought one because I just wanted to experiment with it just to see if they are any good, because I already own the Garrett Pro Pointer, which I've had for years. Putting the price into perspective, this GP Pinpointer cost me £15.50, and it came with the lanyard, the belt holster, the manual, and the lanyard ring, and a good quality as well, to be honest. The Garrett Pro Pointers, like mine, was £117.95, and the Garrett Carrot, or the Pro 80 as they call it, that's £135.95. Now you can buy 9 GP pointers for the price of one of those, and their wireless Z-Link one's £153.95. And I know it's like comparing a Ford Fiesta to a Ferrari, but some people are on low budgets, they don't have a lot of money, and they might be new to the hobby and may want to just buy a cheap pinpointer and put the savings towards a detector. I mean, the pointers and like your little digging trail are secondary, so you know they make the job easier obviously, but you're better off putting the money towards a detector. I mean, for me personally, I just need a pinpointer to poke and scrape around the ground and to look for a coin and artifact. At the same time, you do need a little depth with them, which is a problem with these, which can be solved, and it's hit and miss as to whether you get a small problem with them or a big problem, but there's nothing too difficult to solve with them. Right, first of all, the reason mine's stripped down is when you buy a GP pinpointer, 9 times, if not 10 times out of 10, when you hold it up in a darker room and shine a torch behind it, and I would recommend using your mobile phone torch because they're really bright. The sensor, the end of the sensor, is normally about 1/2 inch to 1 inch back, which is no good. The sensor needs to be at the end here, because obviously that's it. That will give you the depth on the coin or artifact, and also all around the outside here. Okay, and all this ferrite rods is one of those rods where you might have seen people scraping a bit of steel against them to create sparks to make a fire. You know, survivalists use them, military, whatever, and that's just got copper wire bound all the way around it up to the top with a rubber protection sleeve on it, and then the wires from that go to the circuit board. Okay, now on mine, and this is what I'll come on to, so the tip of mine was about 1/2 inch back. Now some people on YouTube have said, yeah, just take the on-off switch rubber cover off, yeah, get a bit of wire bent inside and just push down on the top of the sensor and it'll push it to the end. I tried that, it didn't budge, and that meant taking the end cap off, yeah, and then inside you've got one screw. Just take the screw out and with a pair of pliers just gently pull on the end here, and all this will come out in a oneer. And I noticed inside, because my sensor wasn't going all the way to the front, there was a bit of mould line or excess plastic inside opposite the scraper blade side of the pinpointer. So all I did was ream that out a little bit, just took a little bit off, dropped it all back in, and the sensor fits absolutely fine to the end. The issue is the wires are quite long, they're about 3 times this length. This is 2.5 inches in length, I've shortened them. So when you drop it all back in, the wires bunch up around the circuit board. It makes it very difficult to seat the circuit board back up here to get the screw back in, and to line up if I can just turn it around, to line up the on-off switch, which obviously needs to be in the centre here, and for the bulb, which I'll come on to protrude through the hole there, the little hole. Mine was sat on the inside, I couldn't get the bulb to protrude through, and I put all this back in. Okay, so what I did was, with a £10, I had to buy a soldering iron. That's more cost, £10 soldering iron and about £1.10 for some solder, and cut the wires down to 2.5 inches length, remove what was the solder on there and the wires stuck to the solder to the circuit board, and resolder them, tin them back on. Yeah, okay, so in addition, the bulb, it sort of sits there, 2 little wires go through there, but I broke them off trying to get the bulb to protrude through the hole, because it was sat flush inside, which is no good, because if you get any water ingress it will get on the circuit board. So I've removed the bulb completely, desoldered it, just gently drilled 2 tiny holes with my Dremel through there for the new bulb to sit. Now I spent about £2.30 on bulbs. They come in packs of 20 or something for a couple of quid off Amazon. So I'm going to have to put the bulb back on, and hopefully when I drop it all back in, get the bulb to protrude through the hole. Okay, but you definitely need to shorten the wires to make your life easier. And you've got to make sure that switch is down in the on position when you're feeding it back through the body here. Otherwise, if it's in the out position, it will just rub here and break. Okay, so it needs to be in the down position. All right. Now, the only additional thing I put on here, I put a rubber gasket seal. It's quite a thick one, just there. So if you can see that all around there. They cost pennies, them seals, and it's a lovely fit. And it screws on and gives you a nice waterproof seal on the end, like that. It's a really nice fit. And it actually interchanges with my Garrett. I don't know why that's not orange, but that's by the by, and it's nothing. As my Garrett there, I've tried it, and all the parts are interchangeable. Well, certainly the end cap, I imagine the rest is as well. This is quite nice quality, although it's a little bit thinner, and it's not as stiff as the Garrett one, and it seats in there really nice. I'll just quickly show you that. There's a nice fit in there. It's nice quality. You get a nice quality clip on the back there. So overall, that's pretty damn good, I think. Well, it's down to you whether you want to take the risk. If you think it's worth buying one of these, you can probably get them a little bit cheaper, but I paid £15.50, as I said, and see what you think. Is it worth it? Well, for me, it was a lot of hassle, because I had to order bulbs and that to buy soldering iron. I had to buy a little solder gun for about 10 quid. So it all adds up. So I'm just waiting for the bulbs to arrive. I'll solder it back on the circuit board, and then there'll be an audio and vibrate and depth test carried out on it. And then we'll see how much depth I get on it. Everything should be good to go then. Overall, £15.50, you know, expect to do a bit of tweaking with it. I did a bit more, like shortening the wires, etc. So, yeah, was it worth it? I think so. If it works fine, you know, I'll probably sell it once I've fixed it up. We'll use it as a backup for my Garrett, I don't know. But anyway, I'll see you in part 2 shortly. Thanks for watching. Bye now. New bulb soldered on, put it all back together. Doesn't work. On off switch now don't work, but it did before. Now you push it in and it just comes back out. Down is the on position, out is the off position. Are these GP Pinpointers worth the money? Absolutely not. Pay the extra and get a decent one. Thanks for watching. New bulb soldered on, put it all back together. Doesn't work. On off switch now don't work, but it did before. Now you push it in and it just comes back out. Down is the on position, out is the off position. Are these GP Pinpointers worth the money? Absolutely not. Pay the extra and get a decent one. Thanks for watching.